Hi, my name is Loren, and I'm a speech language pathologist. For the last 10 plus years, I've had the awesome opportunity to work with both children and adults with various communication and feeding swallowing disorders and difficulties. I love what I do and would like to share helpful tips and strategies with families who are interested in helping themselves and their children improve their communication and feeding skills. I hope you will join me on this journey to better communication.
Hi everybody and welcome back. Today I'm going to discuss reading. A lot of families, I know that bedtime is a great time for reading, especially now that we're at home. During the day is a great time for reading too. As a speech pathologist, my favorite thing to do is to read to my students. I think it's very important because it provides for language skills. There are pictures. Children decipher so much and take so much from not only just pictures, but words. They're even able to create pictures in their heads and scenarios. It helps them with inferencing skills. I've noticed that I've been able to work on a range of language skills with just the right techniques in reading a story to my kids. So I picked a book today, The Animal Picnic, written by Leslie D. Perkins, pictures by Nancy Spear. And there's just so much going on in this book. And I love books like that because you can spend all day just really describing the pictures. So for students who are working on language skills, whether that be synonyms and antonyms, basic skills as prepositions, colors, texture, shapes, animals, naming, vocabulary, all these different skills can be worked on with a book. And so looking at this page here, we see a lot of different animals, right? So I see a pelican, I see a sheep, I see a monkey, I see a snake, I see a leopard, I see a pig, I think, a possum. He can be whatever you want him to be, though. I see a mouse, and everyone is eating. So there's various types of foods here. We can talk about hot and cold and opposites and different things like that. This little girl's drinking hot chocolate, tea, or coffee. We know that that's hot. This little mouse knocked over some rice. This monkey's eating some cake. We haven't even gotten past the first page, and we're able to even engage our kids in so many different things, right? The key is not to be too busy. So you want to think of something that your child may be working on in speech. You may want to ask their speech therapist what they're working on in terms of language skills, either receptive or expressive, and just pick one goal to work on with your child. And so let's say today that one goal for us is going to be vocabulary, okay? And this is also a really good activity for children who have articulation concerns. A lot of times make sure I'm familiar with the book. First, I've at least looked at all the pages and the words in the book at least one time to decipher speech sounds. Speech pathologists work on sounds for students in the initial, the medial, and the final position. That's the beginning, the middle, and the end of words. And so a lot of times we always start in the beginning. It's just the easiest. So if your child has an articulation disorder and they're working on a speech sound, I usually like to work on the sound in the beginning. So let's say our sound is P. And so we know we got it right here, the animal picnic. And so what we'll do is we'll ask our child, hey, every time I say a P word, you're going to say it with me 2 or 3 times. That will help them identify the speech sound. When they hear it, identify it correctly, and then that gives us some practice. Now, parents, you don't have to do it every time they see the word. It will get a little redundant. But I would say give yourself a target. Usually my target is about 10 times, and that's usually for my children that are around 3 or older. So about 10 times in the whole story. And so as we increase, as their attention increases, as their comfortability with the book increases, we can throw a few more in there, but they'll practice that speech sound correctly about 10 times. And then let's just stick with the number 10. 10 new vocabulary words. And so they'll have to pick them out in the story when they see them. And books like this are fun because there's great pictures here, and usually you'll see the same animals at least 2 or 3 times in the story. So let's get started on the animal picnic. All right. So first here we have a big tree. And the tree shows that there's a basket. We see some, what do we got there? They're birds, right? What do birds do? They fly. So we have an identification of an animal and we have something that they do, right? Let's pick out some other things in the picture. What is that? Ah, it's paint. What do you do with paint? You paint a pretty picture for mommy or daddy. What is that? It's a paintbrush. What do you do with the paintbrush? You can dip it in your paint and paint a pretty picture, right? What do we have here? These are scissors. What do we do with scissors? We cut. So right here, we already have about 4 vocabulary words that we've already identified, and that's only page 1. All right. The animals had a picnic to celebrate the fair. They all brought something tasty for everyone to share. Oh, wow. And then we can even identify what's a fair. Now we have all these different tents here and balloons, so that'd be easy to describe to our kids. A fair is a place that you go to play games and have fun, and there's people there. You can ride on rides and get yummy snacks, right? So those are some things that you may want to talk to about with your little ones. The word fair, another vocabulary word, right? There goes that word, picnic. And you'll have them say with you a couple times, picnic. And so the importance of them pronouncing the sound before they use the complete word is, once again, practice, right? So we see all kinds of animals here. We have balloons in the picture. We have a moose, bears. Oh, look at the basket. It's on the sheep's back, right? Prepositions, things like that, right? There's so much we can do with here, but we're going to I get a little excited, so I'll try to stick to the topic. The lambs brought yams, the bees brought peas, the poodles brought noodles, all sprinkled with cheese. Oh my goodness. So we'll get back to our articulation real quick. The bees brought what? Peas. Can you show me the peas? Where are the peas? And you can have the kid identify where the peas are, right? Peas. What are they? Peas, right? 2-3 times, right? Oh, and who brought the noodles? What are these guys called? Poodles. Something like that, right? So we got the poodles bringing the noodles. We can also talk about some vocabulary words here, like that basket. What's a basket? What do we do with a basket? What are they doing with the basket? And so you'll have the child take a look and use visual supports. And the basket's balancing on his nose, right? But what do we use it for? We use a basket to hold things. Parents, don't be afraid to tell the child what it is. The importance of a teaching moment is you're still teaching them. They're not going to know everything. So, I found that sometimes I forget as well, and I'll just ask questions. But this can also just be a teachable moment, especially if you want to read the book again. You've already taught them some things, and then we can go over it again to see what they've learned. But they've got to learn it first before they can actually tell you the answers. The cheetahs brought pitas. The mice brought rice. The moose brought juice and a bucket of ice. Ooh, ice. What do we use ice for? We use ice to keep things cold. So we can look at that and have the child find some ice. What do you think we'll do with the ice? Oh, right, we can put it in the juice, right, to keep it warm or cold. And they'll answer questions like that, right? Then we have a great P word in there. Pitas. Pitas. Yummy pitas. And so to keep your child engaged, you'll help them find where the pitas are. Now, these kind of look a little different, but, those are supposed to be the pitas right here. Pitas. The pigs brought figs and the bears brought pears. The apes brought grapes and some picnic chairs. Once again, what is this? It's a chair. What do we do with a chair? Function. We sit in a chair, right? And so he's got the chair over his head, right? That's another preposition right there. And now we have some P words in here. Pigs. Where are the pigs? So you'll have the child say pigs once or twice, and then give them the opportunity to point to the pigs, right? Then there are pears. Pears are not your most common fruit. Some kids will know what they are, some kids won't. So you'll have them look. Pears. Where are the pears? They're right here. Can you show me where the pears are? And they can point to different pears, right? We've practiced that speech sound and our vocabulary. The raccoons brought spoons. The moles brought bowls. The storks brought forks and some cinnamon rolls, right? All right, so what do we have here? You can point to the item and let your child tell you. It's a spoon, right? What do we have here? Forks. What do we have here? Bowls. And we can ask them, well, what do we use these things for, right? We even have some categorization going on in there. All those things are things that we eat with, right? Language galore. But like I said, I'll stay on topic. The snakes brought cakes, and I brought the tea. It was a wild picnic, just the animals and me. Picnic, picnic. Keep them engaged. Let them tell you what's happening in the picture. A lot of times I'll let my kids go crazy in fun pages like this and tell me what they see and tell me what's happening. We're still working on expressive language, right? We're still working on speech sounds. We're still working on language in general, but we're giving the child an opportunity to take control and share what they want to share about the story. You want to make sure that you don't take too much control, but allow the kid to still have fun and let this be a fun environment for them to really express themselves and talk about what they see. Nowadays, because there's so many tablets and everything going on, I've seen less engagement in stories, but I found it to be the most impactful when it comes to working on these various skills and improving these various dialect and disorders. So this page, kind of like the first page, has a lot going on. Let the kid talk to you. Let your child talk to you about what's happening in the picture, what they see, and then maybe give them a target. Tell me 2 words that we talked about. Oh, and what are they, right? So, pita, good job. Find another P word for me. Pear, pig. Wow, good job. Those kind of things. And then some language, right? So, before we were looking at the different things that they had, right? So, we have a basket. Sorry, not a We're not working on B, but a basket. The poodle's using a fork. What do we use a fork for? To eat. Oh, we have our bucket there, right? What does the bucket of ice do? What do we say ice does? It keeps things cold, right? So that is the end of our story. And I just wanted to give parents some tips on how we can really bring out that language and use this story time at night to really amp up language, amp up skills, and work on some of these things in a fun way. Now, parents, I know you can be tired and you barely get through the story. But I have also found a fun way is to let the child tell you the story. Now, whether they can read or not is not important. These kind of things work on receptive language skills and expressive language skills. Them explaining things and using phrases and sentences. Them using their imagination is important because then they get to make inferences. And it's never too young for these language skills and to work on these language skills. Them telling you what different things are. Even if you just sat there and said, oh, I don't know what that is. What is that? If they can't tell you, you can always tell them. These things take minimal engagement and still provide for a language robust opportunity, whether it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, or even less. So I hope that you guys learned a lot from what I've shared today. And just know reading is the best opportunity to help your child with both their speech and their language skills. Thanks for watching. Take care.